Hello everyone. Today is my absolute pleasure to take you on a journey with Delaware on a migration towards the clouds. More specifically, a migration from SAP PO to Integration Suite. But before we start in the more technical stuff, let's introduce ourselves. We are Delaware. We are a company of more than 5,200 professionals spread over 18 countries. And we're very proud to be one of 11 global SAP Platinum partners. The presentation today will cover a migration from SAP PO to Integration Suite. But before diving into the practicals, it's worth questioning ourselves, why are we doing this migration? So let's start with this very important question from the start. So the current situation, we have SAP PO, so the Process Orchestration tool of SAP. And this tool, we know will be end of maintenance at the end of 2027. And so we're looking at a migration towards Integration Suites. Well, why is the tool end of life at the end of 2027? It's actually because some of the Java libraries that are used in the PO system are end of life and will not be supported by Oracle anymore. So that's the reason we are talking today. The presentation today will cover a scope of a migration to Integration Suite with a full migration, taking into account all the best practices and optimizations that we've learned over the years. A very important question as well is, how do we look at a migration from SAP PO to SAP Integration Suite in relation to a migration to S/4HANA? Because we see a lot of our customers are challenged with two migrations at the same time. Of course, every one of these scenarios that we have before, during, and after, any one of those scenarios has its advantages. But as Delaware, we most recommend the before scenario for a couple of key reasons. Firstly, if you do a migration to Integration Suite before your migration to S/4HANA, you are ensuring that your key users are well prepared for your migration to S/4HANA. The migration to S4 will be a lot more complex with a higher impact on your business. So by starting with an Integration Suite migration, you are making sure that these key players are well prepared. The next reason is because we want to ensure that the test scenarios are clear for all our key users. If you are testing your Integration Suites, you are testing the business processes and you are prepared for your migration towards S/4HANA. A migration to Integration Suite always starts at the same point in time. It always starts with a migration assessment. This migration assessment, this is something that can be done for every customer. This is something that SAP is providing. Now, the result of such a migration assessment is a number of days. So the result will always be an estimation of X amount of days. It will take this amount of days to migrate your PO environment towards Integration Suites. But how do we come to this result? Well, again, it's based on two variables. We have the t-shirt size as one variable. You can look at this one as the complexity of your integration. And as a second variable, we have the assessment category, which is ready to migrate, or evaluation required, or adjustment required. And these categories basically mean, is your integration immediately ready for migration very fluently, or do we need to take into account some customizations and some manual actions after the migration? So this amount of days will then be your result, and you know what to expect for your migration. Now let's have a look at how Delaware is doing this migration based on your migration assessments. We propose an approach to migrate your SAP PO environment, and this is how a typical project would look like. So we have, at the beginning, as mentioned, the migration and assessments based on the integration list version 1. This is where it all starts. But you can see during the project, we have some key deliverables and some key milestones that we'd like to address. So after the migration approach version 1, we will always start with a solution design. The solution design involves us, Delaware, and we will check the list, go over every integration one by one to make sure that we know each integration, and we are very critical in asking the question, should it be migrated to Integration Suites? Maybe not. maybe it should be reworked a little bit to really optimize all the new capabilities of Integration Suite. Maybe we want to take into account some standard APIs that will become available whenever you move to S/4HANA. So taking all of this into account, this is taking place in the solution design. After the solution design, the prepare phase, we have our migration contract and we can start with the migration itself. So during the realization phase, we continuously improve and learn from other projects and other migration solutions. And we will tackle the interfaces from our list, or our version 2 list, and we go over from easy to most difficult interfaces. This allows us to build trust in the solutions that we're building, and it allows us to really learn and gradually improve and add the more complex integrations at the final dates. The realization itself, we have a migration tool that we have built in Delaware, custom built, completely custom built, a service, a SaaS solution that we have to really automate the migration process and also to incorporate a mass import integration scenarios capability. This tool is not only automating the process of migrating a lot, but it's also leveraging the Delaware Integration Framework. The Delaware Integration Framework is packed with a lot of value. We see that the PO interfaces, typically, when you migrate them using a tool like the standard available migration tool of SAP, this is a fine tool. It will do the job of your migration, but it will do a lift and shift migration. It means that it will not take into account all the new capabilities that you are paying for with Integration Suite. So with the Delaware Integration Framework, we have developed 9 templates, and these 9 templates, according to us, they are going to cover every integration scenario that is in your PO system. These 9 templates will be matched to every integration in your PO system, and that way it will already take into account all of the experience that we've built up over more than 10 years of integrating in the cloud. So whenever you are migrating with Integration Framework, by default, you have retries, alerting, monitoring, reprocessing, staging, very complex routing scenarios, splitting. This is all supported by one of the templates. Not only that, it's also supporting all CI versions, and it's very scalable and extendable to Cloud ALM, which is the solution that SAP is providing, or really strategically providing for monitoring and integration exception handling. This brings us to our Delaware Fast Integration Platform, and one of the tools that's incorporated with this platform is our migration tool. To migrate the integration scenarios, we have to connect, of course, with our PO environment, and we have to connect with our Integration Suite environments. We log in, and we will provide connection details, and from here we can see we can upload an Excel file, and by doing so, immediately we can see an import of 4 integration scenarios, but of course this Excel can contain a lot of integrations that you can just migrate automatically with one click. It's just a matter of selecting the right template. So now we have filled in our connection details, we are ready to migrate. So by uploading the Excel file, you can see all of the configuration details. We can see every source ID is matched with a PO interface. We can select also the operation mapping, which is also migrated to Integration Suite. And we decide where we want our integration to end up. The integration tenant I'm going to migrate to is here. And as you can see, it doesn't contain at the moment, it doesn't contain any integrations. But when I select all of these interfaces and I click migrate, it should one by one show the logs here whenever the migration is finished. As you can see, it's filling up nicely, where you can see the mapping is migrated, but also the interface itself towards our desired package. So if you have a look and we refresh the page, it should contain the right interfaces at the moment. So as you can see, we have 4 new artifacts in our Integration Suite, and these are immediately in the Delaware Integration Framework. So really building on all our experiences and optimizations for your integration suite environments. We've seen in recent projects, we were able to confirm that by building the integration framework and by building upon this, we can save approximately 2 days on a medium interface of 8 days, which means we can save 25% of time and money, of course, on your developments. And this is not only taking into account the migration, but also know this investment, this return on investment will build up whenever you use the tool more for all future interfaces. But that's not the only thing. Next to migrating, which is connecting to both PO and Integration Suite, we have a generation tool. This generation tool is able to, just like migration tool, generate interfaces in your Integration Suite, completely mass creating it completely from an Excel file. And not only that, it is only using AI to use the mapping specification that you have for every new interface. You have a mapping to translate system A to system B. We have a mapping specification. Most likely it will look something like this. We are using AI to translate this specification towards a graphical mapping design in Integration Suites, thus automating almost the whole process of your integration developments and saving a lot of time and improving on standardization for future supports and so on. And next to that, we have a lot more features to come. We are working on a direct link to Cloud ALM, an integration dashboard with some key KPIs and some interesting URL links to your systems. We have the payload monitoring, which is also coming because if you migrating from PO to Integration Suite, you're used to be able to check the payloads in PO. This is a capability that will be lost in Integration Suite, and a lot of our customers are actually seeing this as a big limitation. So we have an answer for this. We have the payload monitoring, which will enable you to request the payloads in your Integration Suite environment and not lose this very important capability in some scenarios. Next to that, we're also working on access management to make sure that everybody can request access to your Integration Suite, but it will all be logged and all passwords can be automatically regenerated every day, every month, whatever you want, every time it's used. As a general overview, this platform will enable you to have a very high speed to value. We are leveraging the Delaware Integration Framework. We are also providing the AI powered documentation on request, so you will be able to request documentation of your integration. Just by a push of a button, AI will document the integration and deliver you with a document that's readable and understandable for everybody. And that leads me to my final question, to ask if there are any questions from the audience today. Feel free to reach out right now or maybe later connect with me on LinkedIn, and happy to help.